Good morning, guys. Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. It is another beautiful start to the day. A little bit breezy out of the east as Fred is making its way into the area, and we've got a high pressure sitting off the Atlantic coast of Florida, creating this little east wind in conjunction with Fred as he moves just north of the very far east side of Cuba. Very disorganized right now, and keeping our eyes close on that storm. But as far as the short term goes, we've got our Fox 13 good catch fishing segment coming up here at 8:15 a.m. this morning on Fox Channel 13 News. Tomorrow morning, we'll be live on the Real Animals Fishing Show Facebook page from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. doing our Real Animals radio show on News Radio 970 WFLA. If you're not local, you can listen into that radio show live on the iHeartMedia app or catch the radio show on the Real Animals Fishing Show Facebook page. So hopefully you can join us for Fox 13 this morning, our radio show tomorrow, and especially Sunday night for our live stream fishing show every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Hopefully the weather won't affect that. If we have a real serious storm coming at us, we may have to cancel that live show last minute, but as it stands now, I'm pretty confident we'll be able to pull off the live show and we won't be on storm watch, at least at too much of a high degree. We do have some storm watch going on, and it is necessary to obviously watch what Fred's got going on. But right now, like I said, it's looking pretty disorganized, and really kind of the worst case scenario that I saw was a fairly decent tropical storm moving by us. Perhaps around 50 mile an hour winds is what the National Hurricane Center has it currently forecasted at. So 50 mile an hour winds is definitely a lot, not something to ignore, but we've had some afternoon thunderstorms recently that have that have surpassed that, but those were quick. This will be definitely more sustained, longer term wind, rain, and weather. Doesn't really look at this time like we have too much of a flooding concern, but things can always change at the flip of a coin. So definitely still want to keep our eyes on it and see what happens over the next 12 hours as the eye of the storm moves into a more favorable area for development. Right now, it's got a lot of upper level shear, about 20 knots. So that shear is kind of keeping it from reorganizing. That's why it's still disheveled after going over Hispaniola. And as it moves into a more favorable area with less shear, it could develop. And how much it develops and when it makes its north and northwesterly turns are the three big questions. Luckily, it does have some shear before it makes landfall, so we shouldn't have one of those situations where it rapidly intensifies before it hits the coast. I would say most of the concern would be in kind of the more central to western panhandle of Florida, whereas in our area, it's going to either go right over us or kind of skirt our coast, and it's going to be a little weaker, but it will be strengthening around our area. We are going to get some serious storms, tornado risks, etc. So there's still a lot to watch with it, and even if it is disheveled and all broke up, it's still going to create a lot of rain, a decent amount of wind, and you still have risk for like flash flooding, that kind of deal. So still a lot to watch. Don't dismiss it. Even just a tropical storm can cause massive damage, like we saw with Tropical Storm Ada caused huge damages to our area. So keep that in mind. And then as far as fishing is concerned, we're heading out today to try to capitalize on some good fishing ahead of this storm. Today is going to be our last day of fishing until hopefully Monday. Monday we should be able to get back out there if this thing clears the Gulf quickly. Might be a little stirred up and slow near shore, but it should be pretty darn good offshore. Monday, and then into the early to mid part of next week, it'll get hot near shore behind the storm. Remember, near shore and shallower waters, you got to wait for not only the weather and everything to kind of stabilize, you got to wait for that water to clear up a little bit. So it takes a little longer near shore inside of 60, 70, 80 foot of water for everything to recover and kind of start getting back to normal behind one of these storm events. Whereas in deeper waters, beyond 80, 90, 100 foot, they're very much less affected, and typically the fishing gets hot again really quickly behind the storms once weather calms down. Also want to keep in mind, guys, we're coming up next week. We've got a 39-hour trip Tuesday. We've got another 44-hour trip Friday. We've got the first quarter moon this Sunday. We're coming up on the full moon later on towards the end of next weekend. So that 44 hours right on the front side of that full moon should have a great opportunity for some nighttime mangrove fishing. As far as red tide is concerned, this past week we've had really beautiful conditions, hardly any red tide present. However, we did see a forecast where some colors are kind of coming back to that map. So there is a chance we might see some very spotty bloom return right now inside Johns Pass and around our local specific area. Very, very light. It's just light green, saying that it's present. That's what the forecast is saying. Whereas a part of Tampa Bay right there on the southern edge of Egmont Key to around that kind of Outback Key area might have a little bit more of a concentrated bloom. But again, that's just the forecast. We'll kind of wait and see what actually happens. But still very much improved over where we were a couple weeks ago. So hoping that our trend of lessening, weakening bloom is going to continue. David DeVoe, good morning. Thank you for sending those stars. Appreciate you. Hopefully everybody has a very happy Friday, and hopefully we'll see you inside Johns Pass at Hubbard's Marina on the backside of Fred. Y'all stay dry, stay safe, and don't forget about that Fox 13 news segment coming up live at 8:15 a.m. Our News Radio 970 WFLA Bartow Ford Real Animals Fishing Show tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. every Saturday morning. And then Sunday night, our live stream shows, 8:30 p.m. on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Y'all have a great day, tight lines, and don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Have a great day, y'all.